You know, when you say new breed, what does that mean? I mean, people will expect that you can't get somebody entirely new because I'm not sure they've got that much time to maybe learn on the job. You need people who've been in the system who can quickly get down to work. And what's that phraseology? Hit the ground running.
As you can see, somebody like Dr. Kachi is a new breed into the system, but he brings to the table a lot of corporate experience. So definitely, if you listen to his presentation in the National Assembly, you will find out that he has already hit the ground running. So when I say new kid on the block, I don't mean somebody that is entirely not knowledgeable about corporate and processes, such as the gentleman that I just mentioned. But we need to expand our base to be able to fish out some of these Nigerians that are in various areas of the world to come back and give us what they've learned from outside. Because the best government is government that comes with comparative knowledge of government. And I hope and believe that these nominees will bring that to the table.
So, do you have portfolios in your mind for some of these ministerial nominees? Are there specific, from some of the questions that they answered, are there specific areas where you'd like to see them function?
Well, Mape, you know, I'm not the president of the Federal Republic. That's his prerogative. That's his choice. But those are some of the anomalies that we are noticing in the system that we would like to correct. I think in the future, it would be good to attach the portfolios of the ministers as they go for screening, so that the senators can actually narrow their questions on their expertise as it relates to that particular portfolio. So, I mean, this is a fledgling democracy where we're redefining our process, and we can't get it right all the time. But the most important thing is to be focused in making sure that as we move forward, that things that were done wrong in the past, that we correct it in the future.
You talked about... sorry to interrupt you there, but you talked about, you know, fresh faces and people who are experts in their fields before coming into government. Does a second list satisfy that criteria to you? Because some people will say, we don't know a lot of people on that second list. They're not as prominent as people in the first list.
Well, I know the minister nominee from my state. He brings, he's an academician. He's been a vice chancellor of a university, secretary to the government. And without knowing the portfolio that he's going to be assigned to, it will be difficult for me to make a statement whether those qualities that he has possessed in the past, whether it rhymes with the portfolio that he's going to be assigned. Most people are speculating that he may be assigned the Ministry of Education, but these are all speculations. I mean, it's the prerogative of the president to make that decision. So I think what we are learning from this process is that in the future, as the ministerial nominees are coming to the National Assembly, it will make sense for their portfolios or prospective portfolios to be attached to the individuals so that the questions could be focused and specific based on that portfolio.
Well, I do recall that just last week we were speaking with the spokesperson of the PDP, Mr. Olusemetu, and we asked him that question. He says it's the prerogative of the president. You're also a member of the People's Democratic Party. Is there any political consideration for presidents to always want to keep the portfolios to their chest?
Say that again. I didn't hear the last part of it.
Is there any political consideration for presidents to always want to keep the portfolios to their chest? Oftentimes, you know, you don't get the portfolios until the ministers have been screened and then they are assigned their ministries.
Well, I mean, once again, that practice, just because that is the way it's been done in the past, doesn't make it right. And I like what the way Nigerians are voicing out their opinions now. Maybe the president that will come after Muhammad Buhari will take notice of that and change that. I don't think there's any constitutional requirement that requires the president to keep the portfolio to his chest.
No, not constitutional requirement. I'm saying political considerations. Is there any reason why oftentimes this is kept secret? And even some politicians support that the portfolios, because we've not even seen that being done in any state, that even when list of commissioners are sent to the state houses of assembly, that the portfolios are sent with them. At that level, at least, they should be able to practice it. Is there any political consideration for them not sending portfolios along with their nominees?
I think that the political considerations that comes with the process comes with the nomination itself. For the fact that these individuals are nominated, that is the political consideration and patronages of stakeholders. So the non-disclosure of the portfolios, I don't see any benefits to that, and I don't see any advantage to that to the populace. But what I'm saying is that what we'd like to see in the future is that we would like to see a situation where the president will forward these names as the ministerial nominees goes to the National Assembly, that we would like to see their portfolios, because not only will it will help the citizens to assess these nominees, but also it will help the National Assembly, the Senate, the Red Chamber to direct and focus their questions based on those portfolios.
And I think that a lot of people won't be able to fault that particular request. But what do you expect to see in the second screening? As I said before, quite a number of people will say that the people on the second list are not as prominent as the people on the first list. Do you think that that second list meets the criteria you were talking about, that we should bring people who are experienced in other fields and people who, new people, fresh faces? Does it meet the criteria of fresh faces for you?
Well, you asked me what do I expect. What I do not expect is the normal take a bow and leave. I want the Senate, the Red Chamber, to challenge these nominees, so that, because I mean, it's a great thing that Nigerians are actually paying attention to this process. It's the beginning of the sustaining of our democracy. That Nigerians, that the lack of, in the past we have serious lack of apathy in the political process of this country, and lately you see Nigerians being very involved, participating in the process. That is good. It's good for democracy. It's good for Nigeria. So what I would like to see is that as they begin this process, not to urge the nominees to take a bow and leave. We want to ask them questions that most Nigerians will ask them if they were there. And since not everybody has the opportunity to be there, they are our representative. All our questions should come through them. So we want to see a lot more grilling than what we saw. 10 nominees in a day is a little bit too much. It makes a mockery of the process. We're quick to point out in the Western world the way it's done. In the United States, some of these hearings take days, weeks, however long it takes to get it right. We're not in a rush. They are there on the salaries that are being paid by the citizens. So they should conduct people's business and not be in a rush to move emotions for people to take bows and leave.
All right, Mr. Odenigbo, thank you very much indeed for talking to us today.
Thank you for having me again.
All right, so there you go. That's the view of Mr. Colet Odenigbo, a member of the PDP, telling us what he thinks of the goings-on with the ministerial screening. Well, we might as well just go ahead and, well, in a moment, we'll be talking about what is, what might be, and what ought to be with that screening, to find out what people think of it. But let's take a moment and go for the headlines again with Ann Wilder.